104.7 The Cave is Springfield's pure classic rock. Mike the Intern, good morning. Got my good friend Derek Stevens from Circa Resort and Casino on the phone. How do you like the Chiefs right now at this point in the season, sir?
In a dominant position here going forward.
You know, it's crazy you mentioned that, Derek. The funny thing about that is, you know, earlier in the day, the Bills lose to the Jets. And then all of a sudden, that loss that we had, we being the Chiefs, to Buffalo early in the season isn't as deep. Now, they own the tiebreaker, of course, but at the same time, that helped us. And then watching that game all day Sunday, just going, what are we doing? What are we doing? But they pulled it out, man. That Mahomes magic. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. What a crazy game. I mean, to be honest, the fact that Vrabel kept them in the game with no offense, no quarterback was kind of amazing. But yeah, it played out great.
It did. You know, I saw a quote the other day about, you know, kids growing up now watching Mahomes do what he does and being sad that they weren't alive when Michael Jordan was doing that stuff. And I was, and I remember it. I mean, that was the thing. I mean, him and Bird and Johnson, just watching what those guys do made that sport so amazing in the late 80s and early 90s. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to be a part of something that's literally going to be in the history books for the rest of your life, pay attention to what Patrick Mahomes does every week, hands down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So what do you think about that guy who sells furniture down in Texas winning off a lot of money this past week?
Yeah, I know Mac pretty well. He did pretty well. You know, off the record, I mean, he would have made a lot of money if the Astros would have lost. But it's a hell of a good PR and media story. You know, he's gonna get $75 million. But what a lot of people didn't really understand, they're all saying, "Well, why didn't he hedge? He should have hedged." They don't really understand. His bets were the hedge because he was hedging the furniture business. You know?
Yep. 110%. And that in itself it's kind of how those, you know, win $1 billion drawing, unlock the key safe. It's essentially all an insurance payoff at the end of the day because that's how he did it. And smart business guy, you know what I mean? And it worked out for him big time. Of course, I've got Derek Stevens from Circa Resort and Casino on the phone with me this morning. We've got a flyaway in January, last regular season game when the Chiefs take on the Raiders. We still don't know exactly what time, but it's going to be that Sunday. We got a pep rally. We got to watch the game from Stadium Swim. And as Derek has mentioned, do not wait on getting your seats, getting your hotel stay at Circa because there's a convention going on that's a pretty big deal that week, and they will more than likely sell out. So don't sit on it.
You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you what, when you look at this schedule after what happened last week, boy, this Week 18 game is going to be something for the Chiefs. I mean, it's going to clearly impact the playoff schedule. Chiefs are in a great position here right now. But this is going to be a really, really key game, this last game of the season. And they've got
a lot of tough hombres coming up. We got to go back out to L.A., face the Chargers. We got the Rams at home. We got to go to Cincinnati and face the Bengals. Not really too concerned about Denver or Houston. Seattle, they've had a pretty good season. How about their rookie running back, Walker, man? He's killing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Walker, it's been unbelievable. Michigan State kid coming on. He's kind of jumped up near the top of the Rookie of the Year wagering.
110%.
The schedule. I do want to mention something to you, though. I'll tell you what, compared to some other team schedules, you know, I think the Chiefs got a lot out of the way early. You know?
Yeah.
The win at Tampa, big deal. You know, the win at Arizona early on when you weren't sure what you're going to get at Arizona. The win at the 49ers, huge. And then obviously what just took place here against Tennessee, just really unbelievable. So for America, which I kind of consider the Chiefs America's team here.
I appreciate that.
I love the way this schedule plays out. I mean, there's a lot behind. You're right about you got to go to the Bengals, but that's a Sunday afternoon game. You got to play one home game against Seattle, which you got to feel pretty good about. But I think right now where the Chiefs are, with a record that's tied with Buffalo, little question on Buffalo now, and not knowing exactly where Josh Allen is. you're looking at a potential run to the number one seed.
You're absolutely right. And the Bills, speaking of which, face off with the Vikings this weekend. And Vikings D has been pretty damn good so far this season. So if and Josh Allen day to day, if you're following fantasy football, but if they don't start him, where they got Case Keenum coming in behind him, is that who gets the start? So that doesn't bode too well for the Bills, and we'll see what happens.
But the Buffalo schedule is the opposite of the Chiefs. I mean, it's tough. Like you said, Vikings this weekend. They got to go to New England. They got another game against the Jets. They got to play the Dolphins. They got to go to the Bengals, and they finish up their last game of the season back with New England. So I think on a schedule basis, the Chiefs are in a much better position, as we go into week 9, into week 10 here.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing I'll leave you with is, can you believe that the New York Jets are in that group of guys right now? That just blows my mind. But they're having a hell of a season.
They're having one heck of a season. And, after, there's a lot of thought after Breece Hall went down. They thought there'd be a lot of struggles, but so far they've been hanging in there. So we'll see. I mean, now the Jets got a little bit of a tough schedule going forward as well, because they got a lot of road games. They got to go to Minnesota. They got to go to New England. They have to go to Seattle. They got to go to Buffalo. They got to go at Miami. So they've got a tough road ahead of them. But yeah, the way this AFC is playing out, boy, I couldn't be more excited.
Me too, man. And that's what this is all about, Derek. We're going to come see you again this January. Chiefs Raiders in Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Get your room right now. Use the special code Chiefs20 online, 1047thecave.com. Derek, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next Thursday, sir.